everyone, welcome to AZ Academy USA. Today I will be reading Hot Celebrity Biographies. Michael Phelps, swimming for an Olympic gold medal. I chose this book because he's good at butterflying, and I'm good at butterfly also. Chapter 1. A fantastic finish. A little more than a half second, a blink of an eye for most of us. But in a swimming race, it is an eternity. This was the difference between Michael Phelps and Milo Red Civic of Siberia halfway through the 100-meter butterfly at the 2008 Olympics. 62 milliseconds of a second to be exact. Civic was in the lead. Phelps was in second place, 50 meters to go. But just when many others would have given up, Phelps began to surge. That's why he's the king, one of the team coaches later said. One after another, Phelps swam past the competition. Soon, only Civic was left ahead of him. Aloud was on a line. At stake was millions of dollars. National pride, personal glory, and Olympic immortality. Back in 1972, American swimmer Mark Spitz set an Olympic record when he won 7 gold medals. The photo of Spitz dripping his 7 golds became an iconic image. Before Michael Phelps came along, Spitz's record seemed unbreakable. But Phelps was a genuine threat. In 2004, swimwear company and Olympic sponsor Speedo had offered Phelps a $1 million prize for matching Spitz's record. Phelps fell just short that year. Now, 4 years later, he was determined to make history. Phelps had taken the gold in his first 6 events. Now Civic was all that stood in his way. 100th of a second. As Phelps' Civic approached the wall of the race was too close to call. At the very end, Phelps snuck in an eyed, desperate half-stroke. To the naked eye, it appeared the swimmers touched the wall at the same time. Many assumed Civic had held on to the win, including Bill Bowman. Even Phelps' mother, watching the stands, held up 2 fingers as if to say second place. As everyone in the building turned their heads and fixed their eyes on the scoreboard, it seemed to take forever for the times to appear. When they did, Phelps' time was listed as 50 seconds and 58 milliseconds. Civic's was 50 seconds and 59 milliseconds. Phelps had won by 1/100th of a second. When Phelps realized this, he thrust his fist in the air and shouted with joy. I had to take my goggles off first to make sure the one signifying first place was next to my name. Phelps later said, that's when I sort of let out my roar. The Siberian coach appealed the decision but accepted the ruling after reviewing photos immediately after the race. Several days later, a digital photo sequence was released to the public to confirm the results. Timer Silver Chinese observed that this is the only sport when athletes don't cross the finish line. The athlete stops. Swimmers have to touch a pad on the wall to determine their times. Chinese explained that it takes 6.6 pounds or 3 kilograms of pressure to activate the pad. Any less and waste from the water will set it off. When I saw the reply, Phelps said, when I did that extra half stroke, I thought I had lost the race. But I guess when I took the half stroke, that was all I needed. The impossible dream. Michael Phelps had overcome a great deal to reach these heights. As a child, he suffered from attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. He also had to struggle to cope with his parents' divorce. At school, the other kids would tease him about his big ears and skinny body. Before learning to swim, he actually being afraid of the water. He also watched one of his older sisters struggle with the Olympic disappointment. I think the biggest thing, Phelps said, is when someone says you can't do something. When there are big quotes in the paper to say it's impossible to ever tie or break this record. It just shows you that anything's possible. When you put your mind to something and you really focus on doing it, anything's possible. With his victory in the 100-meter butterfly, Phelps had high space record with one more race yet to swim. Could he really set off a new record by earning an 8th gold medal? Well, after this amazing victory in the butterfly, no one would dare say it was impossible. Chapter 2. Growing Up. Michael Phelps was born on June 30th, 1985. He is the youngest of 3 children born after sisters Harley and Whitney. His parents, Fred and Debbie, were high school sweethearts. Fred had played football and Debbie had been a cheerleader. Fred was good enough to set several school records and even tried out for the Washington Redskins of the National Football League, NFL. After they earned their degrees and got married, Debbie became a teacher and Fred a police officer. As a child, Michael was very energetic. It seemed he could never sit or stand in one place for very long. He always needed to have something in his hands to play with. He was also an accident-prone. If it was breakable, Michael recalled, I usually found it. Growing pains. Fred and Debbie Phelps separated in 1992. Michael and his sisters had a hard time adjusting to this, although Fred remained a presence in Michael's life for a time. The two slowly drifted apart. As Michael later recalled, I stopped trying to involve him in my activities, and he stopped trying to involve himself. Michael Phelps, personal info. Favorite music, rap. Favorite rappers, Little One, Young Jazzy, Notorious B.I.G., and Edmund. Favorite movie, Miracle. Favorite swimming stroke, The Butterfly. Heroes, his mom and Michael Jordan. The same year, Michael started taking swimming classes with the North Baltimore Aquatic Club, NBAC. His first instructor was a woman named Cassie Layers, a family friend and a neighbor. At first, Michael hated the water. The younger brother of 2 great swimmers was actually afraid to get his face wet. Swimming was not nearly as much fun as it seemed when he was watching his sisters. Michael would yell and throw tantrums, refusing to cooperate. In order to get him in the pool, Layers started him off with the backstroke. This way, his face will not get wet. After a while, Michael started to take to swimming, and his skills developed quickly. Soon, he no longer wanted to leave the water. The pool became an escape for Michael. When he was swimming, it took his mind off his parents' divorce. It also helped him escape some of his teasing classmates. They sometimes made jokes about his large ears. Some of the kids even called him Spock, referring to the Star Trek character. Because of this, Michael would often try to hide his ears under his Baltimore Orioles baseball cap. An eventful year. The year 1996 was an eventful one for the Phelps family. This was the year that 15-year-old Whitney went to the Olympic trials, but back soreness kept her from swimming her best, and she did not make the team. At the same time, Michael was struggling. This was the year he started wearing braces. His impulsive nature was also beginning to get the best of him. He was often benched at the pool for misbehaving. At school, one of his teachers was said he would do anything because he couldn't concentrate. This is when Michael was first diagnosed with ADHD. Phelps, most importantly, 1996 was the year Bob Bowman took over as the swim coach at Meadowbrook Aquatic and Fitness Center, home of the NBAC. Shortly after Bowman's arrival, Michael set a national record in the 100-meter butterfly for his age group. This was an eye-opener for Bowman. In the fall of 1997, he approached Michael's parents and told him that their son had the potential to be an Olympic swimmer. Michael Phelps, all the family. Whitney was a national champion in the women's 200-meter butterfly at age 14. Harley earned a swimming scholarship to the University of Richmond and set several school records there. The day is all changed. By March 2000, at the National Championships in Seattle, Michael had cut his time in the 200-meter butterfly by an amazing 5 seconds, finishing in 1 minute and 59 seconds. This made him one of the fastest swimmers in the world, and he was just 14. That day changed everything, Bowman recalled. The same year, Michael and Whitney both went to the Olympic trials. Whitney was still swimming at this point due to a great pain due to the bulging disc in her back. She eventually dropped out of the trials as a result of this. Meanwhile, Michael was too young to be considered a favorite to make the team. In its trials forecast, Swimming World magazine had predicted that he was probably still a year or two away from being a factor on the world scene. So when Michael qualified by finishing second in the 200-meter butterfly, everyone was shocked. Whitney greeted him after the race with an emotional hug. It was an amazing thing for a male swimmer that age to make the Olympic team, Whitney said, and he's my little brother. He means the world to me. The 2000 Games. The 2000 Olympic Summer Games took place in Sydney, Australia, just a little more than a month after Michael's 15th birthday. Michael was the youngest member of any U.S. team since 1932. He placed 5th in his one and only event, the 200-meter butterfly. Just a short time after Sydney, Michael will have his braces taken off, get his learner's permit, and set his first world record. Chapter 3. Athens. In the week of Sydney, Michael set a new goal for himself, for extra motivation. At the 2001 Nationals, he will break a world record, and he proceeded to do just that. He set a new world record at the 200 butterfly, the same event in which he placed 5th in Sydney. At 15 years of age, he was the youngest swimmer to ever hold a world record. 2001 Worlds. Since the Nationals also served as the trials for the World Championships, this meant that Michael will be going to compete in Japan that summer. There, he won the 200 fly again, making him the champion and gold medalist in the event for 2001. He also broke his own record, setting a new world mark of 1 minute and 54.58 seconds. Work success. Michael's success continued in 2002. That summer, at the Nationals in Fort Lauderdale, he set an American record in the 200-meter IM individual medley, and came in just under his own record in the 200 fly. He also won the 400-meter IM. He credited this victory to his touch. It was the first time I realized that if I nailed the touch at the perfect time, I could make the difference, Michael said. How many dogs? At the 2003 World Championships in Spain, Michael entered 6 events, 2 IMs, 2 flies, and 2 relays. In his words, he saw it as a great dry run for the crowded schedule I might be looking at in the Athens. Before leaving home, he got his mom to agree to let him get a dog if he broke a world record at the meet. He met this goal in his very first event, the 200 fly. Up in the stands, Harley had a sign that read, "Dog?" Then he set another new record when he swam in the 200-meter IM semisons. Harley held up another sign, "2 dogs?" Then he broke his own record in the same event in the finals, 3 dogs. He will set his 4th and 5th records at the World and 100 fly semisons and 400 IM finals. Harley's last sign, 5 dogs? Michael finished the meet with 5 medals, 3 gold, 2 silver, and had broken 5 world records. Phelps versus Troop. The 200 IM at the 2003 World Championships featured a dramatic matchup. Then Troop had entered the race, and it was the first time he and Phelps raced head-to-head. Phelps beat him by over 3 seconds. Troop was 2 body lengths behind when Phelps touched the wall. Just a few weeks after the Worlds, Michael swam at the Summer Nationals in College Park, Maryland. Fearing a letdown after his big performance in Spain, Coach Bowman offered a special challenge to keep Michael motivated. If he could finish the 200 IM in under 1 minute and 56 seconds, Bowman would get his head shaved. Michael ended up touching the wall at 1 minute 55.96 seconds. Bowman's hair was gone, along with another world record. It was the 7th world record Michael had broken in a span of just 41 days. In Spitz Shadow. Just before the 2004 Olympic trials, Michael's agent came up with an interesting proposal for Speedo. A $1 million bonus for Michael if he could match Spitz's record of 7 golds at either the 2004 or 2008 Olympics. Speedo agreed to the proposal, and both sides decided to make the deal public. Michael believed this would be good for swimming. People would talk about the $1 million. They would mention Speedo. The boss would give the press an extra incentive to write about swimming in advance of the Olympics. Michael Phelps' first race at the trials was the 400 IM. He won, setting a new record in the process. Next up was the 200-meter freestyle. He won the event with a time of 1 minute and 46.27 seconds. But he was disappointed. He was hoping to finish in the 1 minute and 45. He followed this up with a win in the 200 fly. The award ceremony that followed the 200 fly featured a very special presenter, Mark Spitz. This was the first time Spitz and Phelps would meet. Spitz presented Phelps with a winner's medal, raised his hand and pointed to him while the crowd roared. Phelps later recalled, "There aren't many things that can make me shake. I mean literally shake. But I could feel goosebumps all the way and down my arms and legs. That was amazing. I walked away and needed some time to just process the whole thing. He's the greatest icon in the sport, and it was like he was passing the torch to me." Olympic legend Mark Spitz raises the hand of Michael Phelps after Phelps' victory in the 200 fly on the Olympics trials in Long Beach, California on July 10, 2004. Spitz told reporters afterward, "I think he really has a chance to do this match of his record of 7 goals. That's one of the things I told him. It's a great opportunity for Michael. It's a great opportunity for swimming, and it's also a great opportunity for the Olympics." Phelps went on to take second in the 200 backstroke, first in the 200 IM, and second in the 100 fly, by placing either first or second in the next event. Phelps earned the right to compete at the Olympics in any or all of them. In fact, he was the first athlete in the U.S. history to qualify for 6 individual events. Dreams of gold. Phelps would not lack support in Athens. His mother, both sisters, and father were all there. His first event would be the 200-meter IM. As Phelps stood on the block waiting for the starter's gun, he wasn't thinking about 7 gold medals. He was thinking about just one gold medal. Phelps wrote his autobiography, Beneath the Surface. That's what I had thought about since 1992, the years I realized I could swim. At the start of the 400 IM, Phelps jumped out to a quick lead, as just he and Bowman had planned. The idea was to have a healthy lead before the breaststroke, Phelps' weakest stroke. As he took his last turn and began the final 50 meters, he could see the competition to his left and right was trailing him. It was at the point that Phelps knew he was going to win the gold. He set a new world record with his time. Friend and teammate Eric Van Dijk finished second to take the silver. The next day, Len Crocker raced a weak leg for the U.S. in the 4x100 freestyle relay. This caused the team to finish third, behind South Africa and the Netherlands, and Phelps had to settle for the bronze. There were now 6 events left, and Phelps would have to take gold in all of them if he wanted to tie Spitz. And his biggest challenge of the Games was up next, the race of the century. The day after was the 200 free and the showdown with the Australian Len Trobe. The press had dubbed it the race of the century due to all of the great swimmers who will be competing. Phelps finished the race with a time of 1 minute and 45.32 seconds, which set a new American record, but this was only good enough for third place. Troop finished third, and Peter van Donovan of the Netherlands took second. With the third finish of Spitz records was now out of reach. Most of the questions Phelps faced from the press afterward were about no longer able to reach Spitz. No one seemed to care about the 3 medals, 2 bronze, 1 gold that he had won. This motivated Phelps to finish strong and silence his critics. He's motivated by the failure. He's motivated by success, Bob Bowman later said. He can take just about anything and turn it into some kind of motivation. That's one of his greatest attributes. On a roll. Next up was the 4x200 meter freestyle relay, an event Australia had dominated. They were on a 7-year winning streak with 3 straight world titles and 4 new world records set during that time. But the United States came out strong, led by Phelps. By the start of the anchor leg, they led the Australians by the body length, but Len Trobe was trimming the anchor for Australia. He pulled even with American Clyde Keller within his first 50 meters. Phelps, who had just swum the first leg, was going crazy on the deck with his teammates. "He's all too fast," Phelps said of Trobe. "He can't hold it." Sure enough, Trobe faded briefly, and Keller pulled back in front. At the last moment, Tripp made a desperate search for the wall, but it was not enough. Australia's streak was over. The U.S. had won. This started Phelps on a roll. He earned gold in his next 3 races and set new individual Olympic records. In just 1 week, Phelps had earned 5 golds and 2 bronze, because one of those golds was in the 100-meter fly. Phelps had earned the right to swim that stroke in the 4x100 medley relay, but he decided to offer the spot on the relay team to Len Crocker instead. Earlier in the 4x100 freestyle relay, Crocker's weak performance in his leg of the race had costed him and Phelps a possible gold medal. But as Phelps would say later, Len's one of the greatest relay swimmers in history. I was willing to give him another chance. The race will also be Crocker's last chance to earn a gold medal for himself in Athens. Because Phelps had swum the fly lead in the preliminaries for the event, he would still get a medal if the team won. But he was putting his fate in Crocker's hands by giving up his spot. Team coach Eddie Reese called it a heck of a gesture. Crocker considered it a gift too large to accept, but after some encouragement, Crocker agreed to take the spot. Crocker rewarded Phelps' faith by completing his leg in the 50.28 seconds. This was the second fastest time ever in the fly split. Overall, the team set a new world record with a total time of 3 minutes and 30.68 seconds. Crocker had earned his one only gold medal in Athens. Phelps congratulated Crocker after the race, and Crocker thanked him for having stepped aside. He gave him a great opportunity, Crocker said, and Crocker's efforts have given Phelps his 6th gold and 8th medal overall. He may not have maxed his 7 golds, but he was still the first person to win 8 total medals in a single non-boycotted Olympics. When it was all over, Phelps was physically and emotionally drained. I miss going to breakfast at Pete's Grill, he told reporters. I miss my car. I miss the house. I miss my cat. I miss everything at home. Phelps was indeed on his way back to Baltimore, but not for very long.